බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීග්‍රගාමී රසේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්. බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීග්‍රගාමී රසේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්.
On satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Making headlines first at 9, back at the CID. The Criminal Investigation Department questions Yoshitha Rajapaksa for 3 hours over the colour change of a defender. Purchasing lands, JVP leader Anurakumara Dissanayake says he too has files against the Rajapaksas. Motor Traffic Act. Police officers receive the power of implementation of the driver's demerit point system. And in sports, redressing the woes, Sri Lanka cricket president Tilanga Sumatipala says the team is in trouble but not the board.
But this is not the historically first time that we lost 3-0 in Test cricket.
And in international headlines, Trump flip-flops. US President Donald Trump reverts to blaming both sides over Virginia violence last week. We are live across Sri Lanka this hour on First at 9. Good evening everyone, I'm Mahesh Johnny. First, a look at local news. Yoshitha Rajapaksa, the son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, was questioned by the Criminal Investigation Department for more than 3 hours today. He was summoned to the CID to record a statement on the alleged change of colour and the use of a Defender Jeep donated to the Sirilia Savia Foundation by an NGO.
Yoshitha Rajapaksa arrived at the Criminal Investigation Department at around 10:15 this morning. Former First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa was summoned to the CID yesterday to record a statement over the alleged handover of a Defender Jeep to Yoshitha Rajapaksa, which was originally donated to the Sirilia Savia Foundation by an NGO. Yoshitha Rajapaksa was summoned to the CID today over the same issue. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa also arrived at the premises. Yoshitha Rajapaksa left the CID at about 1:30 in the afternoon.
They assume a person called Thajuddin was killed and my brother was summoned to give a statement on changing the colour of a vehicle. They are trying to cover up their inabilities and remove Mahinda Rajapaksa from politics. I was summoned to be questioned on a vehicle belonging to the Sirilia Foundation. They questioned me on a change to the vehicle's colour. They didn't ask me to reappear, but we are ready to assist them at any moment. Today, another Rajapaksa is summoned to the CID. This statement was taken over the use of a Defender by Sirilia Savia and a change to its colour. This was for a completely different case. The leader of the Janatha Vimukthi Peramuna, Anurakumara Dissanayake, alleges that former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's family has brought 21 plot of land and he is ready for a debate on the manner in which they were procured. The parliamentarian made these remarks addressing a party rally in the Ratnapura district last evening. Health Minister goes to Singapore for treatment as he is well aware of the quality of the local health sector. President's fund gave him 10 million rupees for treatment. That money should have been used for a ward at the Ambalipitia Hospital. Similar was done for former Minister Keheliya Rambukbella during the previous regime. Do you think that these parliamentarians represent you at any time? Minister Ravi Karunanayake repairs his house, rents a house at a monthly rental of 1.45 million rupees. The rent was paid by Arjun Aloysius. He resigns from the post after allegations were levelled, and another minister who was similarly forced to resign was appointed in his place. It is like musical chairs. I even have details of land purchases by the Rajapaksa family in 21 different locations. They were purchased under the names of Yoshitha Rajapaksa, Nama Rajapaksa and Shiranthi Rajapaksa. I will reveal when they were purchased and their value. The leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Piri, says that the government proposal to establish a special court to prosecute former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's family is against the constitution. He voiced his views during a media briefing held in Colombo today. Also addressing the media, parliamentarian Bandula Gunawardena claimed that if all UPFA parliamentarians unite against the Inland Revenue Act, it can be defeated in Parliament. There is a proposal seeking a special court in order to prosecute members of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's family. This is against the constitution. Who deprived the civic rights of former Prime Minister Sirimavu Bandaranaike? It was a special commission which did it. She was made culprit for various offences which were not even mentioned in the penal code. That's how they used special codes in the past, and they are now trying to do the same to former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, which is uncalled for. In a public statement, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that 87 cases have been completed and sent to the AG's office, and action will be taken next week. The Prime Minister has no right to give orders to the AG's department or any other of its members. An attempt has been made to pass the Inland Revenue Act by next week, the very same act against which we have initiated court action. So we make a request from all parliamentarians who won their seat through the United People's Freedom Alliance under the beetle leaf to cast their vote against this act by siding with the country. If not, they will have to face the next election as politicians who betrayed their people. This act was shrewdly put together by former Minister Ravi in order to meet the needs of the IMF. We kindly request former parliamentarian Shanta Bandara to refrain making the Sri Lanka Freedom Party a joke. If he is thinking that 7 people from our side will cross over, we kindly ask him not to mislead the country. You can see in the near future as to whether Thenuko Vidhanagamage has joined the government or he is still with us. He will make his views known to the whole country very soon. Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Patali Champika Ranawaka, stresses that the political discipline of the country must be assured even if it takes 10 courts of justice. Minister Ranawaka made these remarks today addressing a media briefing at the ministry premises in Bathramula. Meanwhile, the minister also spoke to the media about the success of the priority bus lane implemented since yesterday.
Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Patali Champika Ranawaka, convened a media briefing today to bring the media up to speed on the progress of the new priority bus lane, which came into effect yesterday in 2 areas along Gove Road in Colombo.
Yesterday, we took an important step in the public transportation system of this country. Buses and public transport vehicles were given a separate lane. We expect satisfactory progress by end of this week. We made this difference with a small amount of money. Money was only spent on painting lines on the road and on a few boards. We did not use the police or any other powers. Discipline cannot be inculcated by threatening people. They should instead be educated. This is the difference made by the good governance. I have already expressed my opinion. What I believe is political discipline should be established in the country, even if it means setting up 10 courts of justice. Police media spokesperson Ruwan Gunasekara says that legal action will be taken against persons found posting a particular video clip involving IGP Pujit Jayasundara and a lift operator. Addressing the cabinet media briefing today, he went on to say that information contained in the video is both defamatory and inaccurate.
පොලිස්පතිවරයා පොලිස් මුලස්ථානයේ සුළු සේවකයෙකුට පහර දෙන්නට යන වීඩියෝයක් මේ දවස්වල සමාජ ජාල සංසරණය වෙනවා. මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ආණ්ඩුවේ මතය මොකද්ද?
ආණ්ඩුවේ මතය ඉතින්
Every police officer is informed through a circular that they should engage in mental exercises for a few minutes in the morning following the recital of the national and police anthems. It could be Buddhist meditation or any other type of religious activity depending on their personal preference. The IGP sometimes checks whether police officers actually engage in these activities. However, no manhandling was done.
නෑ එයාට බැනවැදීමක් කරනවා ඒක හරි කොල්ලයකින් අදින්න ඒක හරියට බලන්න
පොලිස්වතුමා භාවනා කළා ආවයින් පස්සේ ඊට කලින්ද සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ
දැන් කොහමද අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ මේකයි
What we have to say is this: the particular visual is defamatory and there is false information as well. We are discussing legal issues here, including the matter of civil defamation. We expect to take civil action after discussing with the Attorney General. The IGP is not conducting any investigation on his own on the matter. He is keeping his silence.
The allegation
against the Sri Lankan police from the International Human Rights Organization is that the torture has been institutionalized across the entire police service. Now you have the Inspector General of Police who is manhandling one of his officers.
Yeah, they can interpret this incident as saying if the IGP is this way, actually the torture, the allegation, there will be a problem. Yes, I agree.
The Askeri chapter of Siam sector states that they condemn the possible no-confidence motion against Minister of Justice and Buddhasasana, Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa. Registrar of the Askeri chapter, Venerable Dr. Madhagama Dhammananda Thera, conveyed the message while making a special statement to media today.
The Minister of Buddhasasana questioned an official who investigates human rights in Sri Lanka. He thought of the country and we know that some are not happy with it. We see that there is a group of parliamentarians who are upset with him for the statement he made regarding the lease of the Hambantota port. That is why they are attempting to demean him in Parliament by bringing a no-confidence motion. This is illegal in our view. If this is done, it should be done with the mediation of the President and the people. Therefore, the Askeri chapter condemns a possible no-confidence motion against Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and requests to refrain from doing so.
Welcome back, everyone. The Government Medical Officers Association announced today that it will be carrying out an all-island anti-Saitam campaign from next week. Media committee member of the GMOA, Dr. Naveen D'Souza, revealed their decision at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
Trade unions, political parties and students are all going to come together on the 20th of this month to carry out a major campaign across all districts. And then on the 30th, there will be protests and rallies under the campaign Anti-Saitam Night. Then on the 15th, there will be a vehicle parade commencing from 5 different locations which will converge in Colombo. We will also hand over a signed petition to the President. And from next week onwards, trade union action will be taken, making sure the government gets our message.
In one of our headline stories, the Cabinet of Ministers approved a proposal yesterday which includes several amendments to the Motor Traffic Act with immediate effect in order to minimize road traffic accidents and encourage road safety. Speaking at a media briefing today, Cabinet co-spokesperson Gayantha Karunathilaka said among the changes made are alterations to the regulation of speed limits.
The Cabinet has approved a proposal put forward by Minister of Transport and Aviation, Nimal Siripal de Silva, on several provisions which include transferring the authority of practical implementation of the driver's demerit point system to magistrates and police officers. Other changes include establishing a minimum qualification for drivers transporting dangerous chemicals, emergency services and public transport services. Changes have also been made in the regulation of speed limits. We will introduce an electronic payment platform for payment of spot fines as well. In addition to vehicles transporting differently abled individuals, new classes of vehicles will be introduced and they will have to be registered.
The cabinet also approved a proposal to provide relief for tea smallholders affected by floods in Galle, Ratnapura, Matara, Hambantota, Kalutara, Colombo and Kegalle districts by providing plants, fertilizers and financial assistance to restore damaged cultivation. Meanwhile, a proposal to provide a rental allowance of 50,000 rupees to 141 families, including the 60 families who have expressed their intention to obtain alternative houses in the months of August owing to the collapse of the Meethotumula waste site, was also approved by Cabinet yesterday.
More from the Cabinet. Cabinet co-spokesperson Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara says the government's stance on elections is to hold them within the same day. The Cabinet co-spokesperson was speaking at the weekly Cabinet briefing today, where journalists raised questions on the local government and provincial council elections.
The
Cabinet did not receive any proposal to delay provincial council elections. The proposal that was put forward only stated that the provincial council elections should be held within one day. The chairman of the Election Commission clearly stated that 80 million rupees are spent to conduct just one election. Therefore, holding interim elections will be an issue. If we change the system of local government elections, then changes should also be made in provincial council elections. I also wish to say that the SLFP supported the 19th Amendment to the Constitution in the hope of changes being made in the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. There is no point just making amendments for one election and not for the others. That is what we spoke about in the Central Working Committee meeting the other day. None of us were in support of delaying elections using this as an excuse. This is our stance. It must be remembered that the main aim of this process is to hold elections within the same day.
Meanwhile, Cabinet co-spokesperson Minister Ganta Karnatilaka spoke on the UMP stance on the elections.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ හැටියටත් අපි දිගින් දිගටම ලොකු විවේචනයක හිටියා කඩින් කඩ සිල්ලල මැතිවරණ තියෙනවා.
As the UNP, we were deliberating on the cons of holding intermittent elections, and it was apparent that the citizens' opinion will be misconstrued. When you see how previous elections were being held, it was mentioned in various political arenas that it is best to hold elections in one day.
Meanwhile, Minister Rajat Senaratne spoke on the proposal introducing a trial at bar method in order for legal trials to be more efficient.
We can conduct cases on a trial at bar in one or two high courts by hearing one case in the morning and another in the afternoon. I proposed that cases can be heard twice a day in one or two high courts, so there would be less of a delay.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry to probe central bank bond issuance said a decision will be taken if the company details of W.M. Mendes and Company Limited are not handed over to the Commission. The Commission had ordered the company to hand over its information last week and told the attorney representing the firm that its details must be submitted today.
When the attention of the Commission was directed towards the profits of Perpetual Treasuries Private Limited in the fiscal years of 2014 to 2016, it was revealed that dividend of 712 million rupees was paid to Perpetual Asset Management Private Limited. Commission member Justice Prasanna Jayawardena asked CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Kasun Palisena in his capacity as a director of the company whether he knows what was done with the money received as dividend. In reply, Palisena admitted he did not know what was done with the money. Justice Prasanna Jayawardena said, since the Commission has a direct mandate, Kasun Palisena should explain to the Commission what was done with the 712 million rupees and that the Commission will hold him responsible.
Several protests across the island were held today against government's alleged proposal to slash some of the benefits. With this story and more, let's now take a look at across Sri Lanka.
A group of Samudi beneficiaries coming under the Ambalangura District Secretariat marched from the Malpattava to the Ambalangura town this morning, causing heavy traffic. Meanwhile, another protest was held in Middenia Junction today. Samudi beneficiaries in Mathura too held protests adjacent the Mathura main bus stand. People also demonstrated their displeasure at the Purunarwa Batitlo Junction this morning. In Polonnaruwa, a 34-year-old woman and her 7-year-old son died of electrocution. The incident occurred when the mother attempted to save her son, touched two faulty power lines. They passed away upon admission to the Pulastipura Base Hospital. Army Commander Lieutenant General Mahesh Senanayake yesterday said that recent events in the north were not influenced by former members of the LTTE. He made the remarks addressing a media in Colombo.
12,180 former members of the LTTE were rehabilitated. There are also those who are connected to the LTTE living in Jaffna. But if we try to connect such individuals to recent events, we must consider as to how many of them were involved in these incidents. The Awa group, for example, is not connected to the LTTE. I wish to clearly state that this is not what is happening.
Welcome back everyone. On to business news now. The ceremony marking the launch of NSB iSaver facility, jointly created by the National Savings Bank and Sri Lanka Telecom Mobitel, was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena today. The ceremony was held at the head office of the National Savings Bank in Colombo.
The NSBI Saver facility aims to increase saving habits among Sri Lankans while utilizing modern communications technology. The service will enable customers to deposit cash in National Savings Bank accounts at any time via the 16,000 Mobitel M-Cash dealer centres island-wide.
Encouraging people to save is a major factor contributing to a country's economy development. When we compare national savings with GDP, it's 24% in Sri Lanka. It's 46% in China and 51% in Singapore. That shows how national savings contribute to economic development.
Addressing the ceremony, Minister of Public Enterprise Development Kabir Hashim spoke about the government's plan for balanced economic development.
The economic gap in Sri Lankan society is huge. 51% of the national income is confined to the Western province. The other 49% is shared by the other 8 provinces. To change this situation, we are now focused on having a balanced development process in the country. The President and Prime Minister always say that we cannot continue the way we are going. We have to change as a country. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka says they are still awaiting a response from the Information and Communication Technology Agency regarding concerns and issues pertaining to the National Payment Platform. Issuing a release, the Central Bank requested details on system development, operational manuals, system security, compliance with system standards and the external system audit framework. In its statement, the Central Bank said that this request was made in an attempt to gather further knowledge regarding the NPP so that the Central Bank could make an informed decision on its feasibility. However, the ICTA failed to provide any information since the proposal was presented to the Central Bank on the 13th of May last year. The Central Bank highlights the need for regulation in all forms of payment platforms since they significantly impact the financial stability of a country. Let's take you to the stock market now. Shares fell for a 4th consecutive session today, posting their lowest close in 4 months as the local investor sentiment remained muted following a string of disappointed June quarter corporate results. The Colombo Stock Index fell 0.36% or 23.50% to 6,417.41, its lowest close since April 18th. Now for a full report on the day's trading, let's cross over to Imeshi Fernando from the Colombo Stock Exchange.
Top 5 gainers of the day were Lanka Developments, Adam Capital, Hunas Falls, Royal Palms Beach Hotels and Office Equipment. While the top 5 losers were Adam Investments, Hikkaduwa Beach Resort, Trade Finance and Investments, ACL Plastics and Colombo Dockyard. Today's foreign purchases were 328.74 million rupees and foreign sales were 230.42 million rupees.
Welcome back on to cricket. Responding to questions hovering over the national cricket team, especially following the abysmal performance against India recently, President of Sri Lanka Cricket, Thilanga Sumathipala, clarified the cricket board is not in trouble. However, the team is. He made these remarks today responding to questions raised by journalists.
Do you think that, Sri Lanka cricket currently is in a bit of a crisis?
Team is in trouble, yeah. The board is not. We have to make sure that our team is performing to their ability, capacity, strength and the expectation. But this is not the historically first time that we lost 3-0 in Test cricket. So we are talking to the players, the management, and we are confident people can definitely transform this game and transform this team into a victory side.
We talk long and hard. We now look forward in anticipation of an ODI series. It's certainly not a post-mortem on a test series, which we're obviously all very disappointed in. What I do urge is that we keep everything in perspective. We played a very, very strong side at full strength who are effectively playing in their own conditions, and we also have suffered some losses through injury. But what we did do is take a lot of positives out of it in understanding our process moving forward, and we also got to find out about players we might ordinarily not have found out about. I know bad news sells, but we do urge you guys that you play a huge role in the mindsets and the confidence of the players.
The Golden Jubilee of the Saints Quadrangular Tournament was announced at a media briefing yesterday. The tournament consists of 3 sporting events, including cricket, rugby and basketball, played by the old boys of 4 leading Catholic schools in the country.
St. Anthony's College Kandy, St. Benedict's College, St. Joseph's College and St. Peter's College Colombo will compete in the tournament. This year's tournament is hosted by the Old Boys Association of St. Anthony's College, Kandy.
We are celebrating the Golden Jubilee of the Quadrangular. Originally, only cricket was played in this tournament, and subsequently, in 2002, we started this over 40 tournament. And thereafter, we introduced basketball in 2004 and a rugby tournament, a seven-a-side tournament in 2014.
Let's move on to international news. US President Donald Trump yesterday returned to his previous position that both sides were to blame over clashes in Virginia last weekend between alt-right white nationalists and anti-racism protesters, which saw 1 woman killed.
The right-wing march in Charlottesville, Virginia attracted white supremacist groups including neo-Nazis. But US President Donald Trump's condemnation came only on Monday, after input from advisors.
I didn't wait long. I didn't wait long. I didn't wait long. I wanted to make sure, unlike most politicians, that what I said was correct. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it.
While widely criticized, Trump's comments, however, drew praise from David Duke, former Grand Wizard or leader of the Ku Klux Klan.
A very good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Now, temperatures may vary between 20 to 35 degrees Celsius over the next 24 hours. Fairly strong winds can be expected in areas of the Uva province and Jaffna, Mena, Kegol, Avisaville, Madru and Potuville along with surrounding sea areas. If we look at the northern region of the island, we can expect some pleasant weather. But due to the low pressure zone in the southwest, wet weather is forecast for Colombo, Galle, Mathura and Kandy. Up next is your city by city forecast.
And that is a part of your world tonight right here on Other Derana 24/7. Indivri Amartha will return tomorrow, first at 9. Be sure to join her then. I'm Mahesh Johnny, and before we wrap things up for tonight, we'd like to take you to Gangarama Temple, one of the oldest Buddhist temples in Colombo. It was established by the famous scholar monk Hikkaduwe Sri Sumangala Thera and is famous for its mix of Sri Lankan, Thai, Indian and Chinese architecture. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
The news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.